You attract what you focus on. If you constantly focus on you being worthless, focus on you being a failure, and you degrade yourself, that lowers your self-worth, and your life is going to start to reflect that. You keep thinking and feeling these negative feelings, you might just start to see those negative feelings in your waking life. If you want a relationship, right? You want a relationship, right? And so you're focusing on a relationship, and you're focusing on doing better to be in a relationship and stuff like that. You might attract that relationship. You might attract the person that's meant for you. But it might be a little tricky. Hi loves, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariel, and today I'm going to be talking about attraction and prioritization. So we all know the law of attraction. I'm sure we've all heard about the law of attraction, but I want to focus on how your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, all of that attracts what's happening in your life, right? I mean, in a sense of, okay, let's say you're focusing, it's almost like, what they say, you attract what you are, right? Let's say you're focusing on wanting a relationship, right? But let's say you're probably not ready for a relationship, right? But you're so focused on that relationship, you might get the relationship, but you might not get the relationship that you desire, the relationship that you actually wanted. You know what I mean? Or let's say you have a crush on somebody, so you're obsessing over that person, right? And you're thinking, yeah, I'm focusing on that person, why don't I have that person yet? Because it doesn't work that way. I don't believe that it works that way. That person that you have a crush on might not be meant for you, right? They are a person with their own thoughts, their own feelings, their own desires, their own life, and you can't force somebody to like you. You can't force somebody to be in a relationship with you. There's a difference between focusing on one specific person, where it takes away the focus on yourself, to focusing on a relationship that would be healthy for you. Now, it's like this, right? The law of attraction. Positive thoughts bring positive experiences, negative thoughts bring negative experiences. And the way I look at it, I don't think immediately you start thinking positively, everything's gonna be positive. We're still gonna have good, we're still gonna have bad. Like, we have to have a contrast, right? We have good sometimes and we may have bad. It's just about the way you look at it. It's all about your perception and your perspective on it, right? It's all about your perspective. Like, if I stub my toe in the morning, I might allow that to ruin my entire day and say I had the worst day ever. Or if I stub my toe in the morning, I'm like, okay, that hurt, but that's a minor mishap. That doesn't mean the rest of my day is gonna be terrible. You know what I mean? And the way you start your day, is the way you might end your day. So if you just start looking at everything as like a negative thing, you might not attract exactly the positive outcomes that you want to attract, right? Like, okay, positive thoughts bring positive experiences, negative thoughts bring negative experiences. I don't fully believe that, okay, you're going to immediately think positively and a positive thing is gonna happen. It's more in the sense of, you think positively, normally those positive thoughts, right? It's when you reconstruct your brain to really think positively, that's gonna motivate you in life, right? Like, let's say you're in school, right? You're a student and you want to be a straight A student, right? You want to get a 4.0 GPA, or you want to be valedictorian, right? So instead of focusing so much on being a failure, being this, being that, or focusing, like, let's say you get one bad grade, you focus too much on getting a bad grade, and you're so stressed about a bad grade, and you're like, I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. No, look at this as a learning process, right? Look at this as, okay, this is an opportunity for me to learn and do better, instead of feeling like a failure the entire time, right? It's all about your mindset and your approach. I see that I get 50% on a test. That's not ideal. That is not what I wanted. So I go through that test paper, and I look at what I did wrong. I try to see what I did wrong. And I might redo the test over to see if I really understand the concept now. So by the time the exam comes, I already understand it and I can do well on the exam. You get what I'm saying? It's like, if you have a positive approach towards school, it's gonna motivate you to, because motivation is what drives us, basically. Like, yeah, you have to have discipline, but you also have to have motivation. Motivation is ultimately what drives us as human beings. If we didn't have motivation to do stuff, we might not get anything done, right? Like, yes, you have to have discipline, but ultimately motivation is what basically drives us, right? So it's like, if you have that positive outlook on school, and it's gonna make you motivated, and you might start to romanticize school. You might enjoy school. Like, you might genuinely enjoy school. You might want to be involved in school and love school, especially when you look towards, like, your future. You doing well now is gonna pay off some way in the future. Now, it's not the case for everybody. Some people experience burnout. Some people might not want to go to school. Not everybody wants to be a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or so on. Someone might want to be a rapper, a singer, an actor, a model, and so on, right? But it's all about what you do now that drives the future. If you know that, okay, what I'm doing now is gonna help me in the future, and I'm gonna have a positive outlook in the future, then it's gonna make you motivated to do it now, right? In a safe way, because you don't want to be, obsession is never a good thing. Obsession is never a good thing. You don't want to be so obsessed on, because it's a negative thing, actually. It's not thinking positively, it's just a negative thing. You don't want to be so obsessed with something that it burns you out, because then you're just not going to be motivated. You're not going to be disciplined. You're just going to be stressed all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, you're so stressed that you get an 80 on a test and you feel like the world's ending. An 80 isn't even a bad grade. People get worse. It's all about how you see it, right? You don't see a 50% as the worst thing in the world. You see that 50% as an opportunity to learn. You know what I mean? So now, when it comes to the law of attraction, which I'm mainly just talking about, okay, what you focus on, you attract, and that's basically what the law of attraction says, right? But basically, when it comes to attraction, if it's like this, right? If you focus on yourself and focus on doing better for yourself, you're gonna get better for yourself. Do you know what I mean? If you focus on somebody else, that person might get better, but you might ultimately get worse. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to prioritize somebody in your life, right? To prioritize your family, to prioritize your friends, or to prioritize your romantic relationship. It just shouldn't get to the point where you genuinely just forget about yourself, or you genuinely just don't try to better yourself because you're so focused on somebody else. It may be selfish to say, but I don't think it's necessarily selfish. It'll probably only be selfish if you just don't do anything to help anybody. If you genuinely only care about yourself, only care about your feelings, which I don't think it's a bad thing to put yourself first. I just think it's a bad thing when it causes inconvenience for other people, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, for example, right? Here's an example. It just came to mind. Let's say you're in a relationship, right, with somebody, and you guys get into an argument. So because they're so mad at you, all of a sudden they're gonna want to cheat on you or something like that. That is selfish. outright just selfish just because of one argument. That is selfish, and that is only thinking about yourself and only putting yourself first. Now, when I say you should put yourself first, I mean, like, if you know that your mental health is declining, right? But and you know that that the person, like, let's say your friend wants to vent to you, but you know that your mental health is also declining, so it's like you can't take all that emotional baggage at once. You just let them vent, and instead of trying to put yourself first, you put them first. Or being a people pleaser, right? Let's say it's like I was thinking this yesterday. There's a difference between being kind and a difference between being nice. When it comes to being kind, you're being kind because you genuinely want to help people. When you're being nice, you're doing it because you want other people to like you. It's like if somebody invites me to a party or something, and I know I don't want to go, right? I have things to do. I have important things to do, but I feel so bad in just telling them a simple no because I have something else to do. I neglect what I have to do for myself, and I go do what they wanted me to do, and it kind of takes a toll on me. You know what I mean? Like, being kind is like sharing your food with somebody because you know that maybe they didn't eat that much, right? Or you just simply want to share your food with them. But whilst being nice might be sharing your food with somebody you don't want to share your food with, knowing that they probably ate more than you and this is your only meal of the day, but you want them to like you. You don't want them to see you as the bad person, so you share it either anyways. That's called being a people pleaser. What I'm saying is, it's not a bad thing to prioritize people in your life. It's only a bad thing if you don't set boundaries whilst prioritizing those people in your life. Because yes, it's all about prioritization, right? You're in a romantic relationship and you're busy, right? A lot of people, even if they're busy, they still find a way to communicate with their partner, right? If you're in a relationship with somebody and they're busy, they have no means of communication, they don't try to talk to you or anything like that, they might not necessarily like you unless they're like above the age of 50 or 40 or something like that. I don't know how older generations work. I'm saying I know some people might not use texting a lot, but they might call you at least. Like, they prioritize you in their life. They know that like them not communicating, it might make you overthink, it might make you assume things, it might so they always try to prioritize you. They always try to communicate with you in some way, shape, or form because they care about you. You know what I mean? Because if somebody is busy and they don't tell you're busy, so you're like, why are they not texting me back? Like, why are they not calling me? Stuff like that. Things might go up in your head, and then all of a sudden, 8 o'clock at night, they just said, oh, sorry, I was busy. You was busy all day and you didn't feel the need to tell them anything. Okay. Now we might be getting off topic a bit, but basically, let's get into vision boards. So, you prioritize, you attract what you focus on. You attract what is important, like what you think, right? It's like this, right? You can always reconstruct your mind to always think positively. When you have a negative thought, you have like 17 seconds to immediately change it into a positive thought before like a load of negative thoughts just come in your mind, right? And it just becomes like this cycle, right? But also, when it comes to vision boards are really good. Whether you have them digitally as your wallpaper and everything like that, or you make one physically, which I think this one is more interactive. It might be more fun, might be a little hobby. it's actually an important thing. I think everybody should do vision boards, right? Especially when it comes to like your future. I think we should all be, especially as young teenagers, we should all be very intentional with our future, very intentional with the things that we do and and try to at least plan our future. I don't think it's a bad thing to not know like immediately what you want to do, but I think it's important to at least set those goals early on. I think it's very important to set those goals early on and actually work towards those goals in your life, right? But basically, vision boards, I think vision boards are very helpful. You know, they kind of help you stay on track. But also, the more you look at something, the more you might start seeing it in your waking life. Now, I did a PDS class, which I think PDS stands for Professional Development Seminar. But when I was in college, I think I did that class in my first year, second semester. Yeah, and I did it with like two of my friends. But we had this task where we had to create a vision board and present it to the class. I don't think everybody should know the goals that I have to make a separate video on that. I don't think everybody should know your goals or everybody should know your plans, because you don't want all that like, you know, people like to like, because it's like you tell somebody something, now they have their thoughts on it, their energies might affect it and stuff like that. I'll do a whole video on that. But basically, we had to make this vision board and stuff, right? And we learned about vision boards. And she was explaining vision boards with us, and I was lucky kind of excited because I always knew about vision boards since I was in like high school. I always was fascinated by vision boards and everything like that. But it's like ultimately, what you see all the time, right, and what you focus on all the time, subconsciously, it's gonna go into your subconscious mind. Like, so many things go into your subconscious mind daily, right? So that's why I'm like, even with social media, you have to be careful about the media that you consume, the music that you listen to, what the words are saying, all of that, right? Because everything has subliminal messages. All of that is gonna go into your subconscious brain and you might not even realize it, right? So basically, vision boards, which I think I have heard somebody say, when it comes to vision boards, don't like immediately put a bunch of stuff on vision boards, to keep it simple or stuff like that. Like, maybe, because I was saying be intentional and you can work towards these goals, but but also it's like, don't immediately just don't only make the vision boards to just flood your mind with so many things, like, you know. But you can also have like this board where you just have a plan, so you have your goals. I just like to write down my goals, and every time I complete that goal, I tick it off, right? But essentially, she was saying, what you focus on is what's gonna come in your life, right? Basically, on your vision board, you have a bunch of things about relationships that might eventually come into your life, because I feel like vision boards are like almost like a monthly or like a yearly thing, because you're always visualizing and stuff like that, right? You always have goals that you want to achieve, right? But or she gave this example, right? There's this guy, and he always used to dress a particular way, and I think he always used to carry $10,000 check in his wallet every day, so he would see it every day. And eventually he did attract a better job that paid him very well, you know what I mean? Because he always looked professional, right? So other people's opinions on him was like, oh, he probably already has a big man job and stuff like that, right? And that $10,000, you know, it helped attract more money into his life, basically. So that is essentially what she was telling us, right? And I've had my own experiences with certain things, and they have worked out for me. Like, I would put certain things as my I wouldn't necessarily put an immediate vision board, but I would put like one thing, right? Let's say I have a desire for like a relationship, so I put a couple picture, like a picture of a couple as my lock screen, right? So eventually I attracted a relationship into my life, or so, like, that's just an example, like something like that, right? So essentially, what you see all the time, what you're focusing on, what your subconscious is seeing all the time, is what you're gonna start noticing in life. I had never noticed how many people got locks until I got locks, right? I like, let's say I get it, like anytime I get a new hairstyle, immediately I start to notice all the people with that exact same hairstyle for some reason, because subconsciously I'm seeing that hairstyle every day because I have the hairstyle, and I'm focusing on that hairstyle every day. So I'm going to start seeing those hairstyles. You know what I mean? So essentially, what you focus on is what you're going to start seeing in your waking life, right? So yeah, so I'll end this video by saying, be careful where you put your energy, right? And be careful what you focus on. If someone is stressing you out, don't give them all your energy. Don't focus on them. You don't want to focus that negativity onto your life. You know what I mean? Because stress is not healthy. Stress can kill people, point blank. And also, be mindful of what you prioritize in your life. Be mindful of what you consume in your life, the media you consume and stuff like that. Just be mindful in life. If you know you have goals to achieve, work towards achieving those goals no matter what you have to do. Even if you're not motivated, watch people. That's why I say the social media consume is important. If you know you want to get into studying, what I like to do, I love to watch other people romanticize school. So I just search up studying vlogs or school vlogs, and it gets me motivated and stuff like that. So I would say use Pinterest. Pinterest is the best social media app in my opinion. I love Pinterest, but also YouTube. I also love YouTube. YouTube has a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities that you can learn from. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a good day.
People never pick up the phone and call. Most people never ask, and that's what separates sometimes the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act, and you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to crash and burn. You know, with people on the phone, with starting a company, with whatever. If you're afraid of failing,